Hey King's Cross family, Pastor Scott here. If you were in worship this past Sunday, then you got to hear me share some exciting news happening here at church. If you didn't, well, I wanted to take a few minutes today just to give you a quick update on some exciting things that are happening. In fact, this past Sunday, I was able to share a new ministry initiative, really a ministry umbrella of things that are beginning to take shape and lift off here at church. I wanted to take a little time today just to tell you what it is, where it came from, and ways that you can be involved going forward. I shared with the church that beginning over the next few weeks, we are launching a community-focused recreation ministry. Now, before I go into all the details of what that is, let me give you a little bit of the why, how we came to this emphasis and this investment using our resources to invest in our broader community. One of the things we do in leadership here at the church is we begin to think about taking our next steps and investing our time, talent, energy, resources to reach our community, is that we look at three different elements and where those three elements intersect. The first thing we pay attention to is our mission. Who has God called us to be, and what has God called us to do? The second is we are intentional about looking at what God has given us to take care of, to steward as gifts to the broader community. And third, we look at what are the needs in our community? Where are there opportunities for us as a community of faith to step into the life of our broader community and region? And when those three things intersect, we tend to try and pay close attention and see if that's a place where we can strategically begin to nurture and cultivate ministry. That's what's happened here with a community-focused recreation ministry. Let's talk about each of those elements. First, mission and vision. As you know, our mission here at King's Cross is to embrace brokenness and champion wholeness in and through Jesus Christ. When we talk about wholeness, we use a framework that Jesus himself gives us, where he talks about loving the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. So how do we love God? Heart, with our emotions; soul, with the spiritual component of who we are; mind, with our intellect; and strength, with our body. We know that part of how God has designed us is that when we can invest, when we can become healthier and more whole in one of those areas of life, then it actually helps us become more whole in other ways. You've experienced this, right? That as you are in a place that's more perhaps emotionally positive, it can help you physically feel better. Or when things are right in your spirit, it can help your emotions be more easy to navigate, and they can be more helpful than hurtful, right? Same thing with our bodies. When we can become more healthy, more whole in the gift of our body that Christ has given us, then it can have positive effects in other parts of our life. So pursuing wholeness in each of these four areas is really important to us because we believe whole people can change the whole world. So that's deeply important to us, including physical health. Second, we want to pay attention to what has God given us? What has God entrusted to us as King's Cross Church in our community? And one of the great things that we do have is property and space. We've been blessed with a multi-purpose space in our gym and worship center that is amazing and has a lot of potential and opportunity. We've also been blessed with space, with acreage, that we want to be good stewards of going forward. Third, what are some needs? What are some opportunities in our community? If you've been around Tullahoma or southern Middle Tennessee for very long, you know that there's actually a shortage of both physical space as well as outdoor space devoted and developed for connection, community, recreation. And so over the last several months, or really even longer, we've been praying and thinking, how do those things intersect? How does the pursuit of wholeness, physical wholeness, intersect with the gifting that God has given us in our space and facilities and land? And how can those be tied together in such a way to meet the needs of our community? This is the beginning of that ministry. So let me tell you a little bit about what it means. In some ways, it may seem small, but it's really part of a unified whole. We're really fortunate to have a family involved in our church, the Lasseters. Chad, who works in insurance, comes to us with a background in recreation. In fact, holds a master's degree in sports administration. And he's been willing to step in and begin to cast some vision and coordinate ministry opportunities throughout the year of ways that we can gather not only for fun and fellowship, but as a way to invite the community to come experience and pursue their own journey with Christ and towards wholeness. We've got wonderful facilities and space. We have a gym, which are in short supply around here. We have acreage that can be developed for use for fields and outdoor activities, also in short supply. And we feel like these are ways for us to meet the needs of our community across the generations, whether it's play space for moms with young children, particularly in the winter, where there's very little opportunity to go places and play indoors, or whether it's for youth and children's sports, whether it's for senior adults to connect, to stay healthy and engaged, and also to build relationships in the later years of their life, which can be a time of isolation and disconnection. Our dream is that we can begin to utilize our space on a regular basis. So imagine with me for just a minute of what this could look like. On Sunday mornings after church, we'll begin taking up the chairs regularly here in a few weeks, which then opens up the fullness of the gym to be used throughout the week. We'll need to do a couple of things to get the gym ready. We're going to be constructing some additional protective equipment for our sound booth to protect some of the things we do for worship, but then we'll have that gym open for use. So that could mean that our youth group on Sunday nights could use that for activities and fun. On Monday morning, there could be a group of moms of preschoolers who gather together for an open gym time. Monday afternoon or Monday evening, there could be a young adult basketball league. We have the ability to not only play basketball, but we'll begin using the space for volleyball, pickleball, lots of great things, maybe even some dodgeball. Lots of fun that can happen there throughout the week. In addition to utilizing our gym space, which we're often asked by our community members if they can find a way to utilize it, we want to start developing our outdoor space too. We've been blessed with something like 60 acres as a church, and so we're taking our first steps to begin developing that into more usable space for relationship and recreation. So we've begun conversations to begin developing some of that land, and it's our hope that over the coming weeks we'll actually be able to start crafting some field space to use for recreation, again, across the generations. We'll have more details to share with you about that soon. But the idea is that throughout the week we can now have multiple ways, not only to connect with one another as church members, to build deeper relationships, develop trust and history in such a way that we can walk through life together, but that we can invite other people to come and join us, come get to know us, come see what life together, what partnership in faith and life can look like. As some of you know, in our day and time, it can often be difficult to ask folks to come try out a faith community on a Sunday morning. There's lots of challenges that come with that, lots of anxiety and past experiences that inform us, but it may be a little bit easier to say to a friend, neighbor, coworker, family member, hey, why don't you come join me? Come with me to this mom's group during the week. Come play basketball with me on Thursday nights. Come with me to a walking group or aerobics group on Friday morning. Come play softball with me. Come play flag football, ultimate frisbee, right? How can we help people break down those barriers of isolation and loneliness to find relationship and connection with us, with one another, and ultimately with Christ? So there's a lot of great things happening. We'll have more specifics and details as the schedule takes shape, but you can actually go today to our website, head over to the Church Center app, and if you go down to the groups page, you'll begin to see there's a new section called Connection Groups, focused on how do we get people together to build relationships. And while you're there, you'll see one of the first opportunities, a softball team that'll play this summer that you can sign up for today and get more information about. We'll have a lot more to share with you on those opportunities, but for now, let me end by just giving you 3 ways that you can support us in this ministry initiative, this broad umbrella of inviting our community to come enjoy us, learn about who we are, and more importantly, learn about who our Savior is. That makes all of this possible. The first thing we could use your help with is for those of you that are interested in supporting this. Perhaps you have a background or recreation or team sports, things like that have been really important to you in your life up until now, and you're passionate about helping other people have the same experience. We would love for you, if you're open to it, to connect with Chad and others and to say, hey, is this a place where I can help facilitate? I can help recruit referees for a flag football league. I can help find people to open and close the building throughout the week so different groups and teams could utilize it to plan and dream what this could look like, not only in a year, but over the coming years together. If you're passionate about providing some leadership there are lots of folks that would love to talk with you. Second, we need to reform and restart our chair teams. Our goal is to develop 5 teams of anywhere from a half dozen to a dozen people who, about 2 months out of the year, would be willing for those 8 weeks to come help set chairs up. We'll begin taking up chairs on Sunday mornings, but we would love for you to volunteer for a team that sometime later in the week, after all these activities and teams and connections have been made, who are able to come back and set those chairs up. With 6 to 12 people, it's really quite easy. And even if you're on a team, and let's say you're traveling or sick, that's okay too. We would just ask that if you, as a member of that team, that you would help us find a substitute, that we could begin to depend on one another to help flip and utilize our space. It's a pretty small commitment, but it's the bedrock of this kind of work. Third, and finally, let me talk to you for a minute about some fundraising that we could use your help with. We are at a point, in order to begin taking up these chairs and putting them down every week, where we need to replace the chairs in our worship center. They are original to the space. They're some 20 years old, and they're great to sit in. I hope at least you feel that way on Sunday mornings. The challenge is for us, when we begin to take them up and move them, they begin to fall apart on us about every time we move them or take them up, we lose a couple. So we're to the point now where we're raising funds to replace those chairs, not so we can sit in them, but so we can take them up each week. The good chairs that are still left out of the initial cohort, they'll be shifted to other parts of the building to replace some really old chairs in those places in our youth space and adult education space. But we would love your help to raise funds to replace those chairs so we can, again, make even better use of our space. Every little bit helps. Some of you may be able to spare $5, $10. That would be a huge gift. Some of you, maybe you can spare a little bit more, $500 or something like that. If you're looking for a place to kind of target a goal for yourself, let me encourage you to think about purchasing a chair or two, maybe a chair for the members of your family. Each chair costs about $75, including to get it shipped here and all that fun stuff. So that may be a good goal for you to say, hey, as a family, let's go and buy one chair, or a chair for each of the 3 of us or 4 of us, whatever that may look like. You can go today, both in the giving boxes. If you want to write a check, you can just put chairs on it, or you can go on the Church Center app if you give digitally, and there'll be a category called chairs. If you will just let us know that that's what that gift is, and it's intended for chairs, we'll make sure that it goes to the right place. We'll be fundraising for this over the summer months, so there's lots of time and opportunity, but it will make a huge difference in our capacity to, again, buy chairs so we can take them up each week. These are 3 great ways to get involved and to help us facilitate this ministry. We'll have more. We've got equipment and things on order. We've got plans in place to start building out more of that protection for the sound booth and other places. We're starting to raise funds for chairs. This is all happening, and it's going to be great. We'll have more details to share, but for now, we'd love for you to join us both in prayer, but also in service to make this happen as we engage our community and invite them not only to become more relationally whole, physically whole, but that they may find their ultimate hope of wholeness in and through Jesus Christ. I can't wait to share more with you about what all is happening. This is just the first of lots of different ministry initiatives that are coming our way, but I can't be more excited that we're leading off with this, and to see all the different ways it's going to provide us opportunities to build relationship with people in our community. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for keeping up and being involved and investing in what we're doing as a church. And I can't wait to see all the ways that God is going to surprise us with the people, the stories, the transformation that's going to happen in our midst. I'm so glad that you're a part of the King's Cross family, and I'm so glad we're taking this journey together.